What is up, everyone? Boshi here, back at it in Raid Shadow Legends, and we got some news on a new fusion coming out next month on April 13th. Let's jump into it. Yes, guys, you heard right. We aren't even out of this fusion yet, and we got some news on a new fusion. So, from what we know, it is going to be a classic or traditional fusion, meaning you're going to need food and you're going to need ascension pots in order to finish this fusion. So yeah, be prepared for that. Start going and farming the potion keeps if you're in need of those potions. Tomorrow starts a champion training event, so if you're not leveling anything in particular, you can start leveling some food in preparation for this event. I'll probably end up making another video about prepping for this fusion in the future, but yeah. So let's go ahead and jump into his kit. I'll give you my rundown of it. I think he is going to actually be a pretty good champion in order to get, and I definitely think everyone should be going for this champion, but let's go ahead and jump into it. I'm going to be looking over at the screen over here just for his info. I will put his image up on the screen right now, and then we'll go ahead and throw his abilities up on the screen as I talk about him. So let's go ahead and jump on into it. So his name is going to be Underpriest Brogni. He is going to be a dwarf faction, my favorite faction, and they need their love, so definitely happy about that. Obviously, he's going to be a legendary rarity. He is going to be a support type champion, which is very nice. And he's going to be magic affinity. So on the A1 is Deep Crystal Scourge. Attacks one enemy, has a 45% chance of placing an HP burn debuff for 2 turns. Not a bad A1. Always nice to have like a major type of debuff on the A1, such as like a decreased attack or a decreased defense, or like an HP burn. Because HP burn you can only have one up anyway on like that one enemy. It's very nice. It's a very big plus, I would say, especially for a support champion. It is a low chance of 45%. I'd imagine we might be able to book it up a little bit, but we're still unsure about the books, unfortunately. So yeah. On the A2, we have Cavern's Grasp. Attacks all enemies, has a 75% chance of removing one random buff from all enemies, and then has a 75% chance of removing one random debuff from all allies, and then increases the value of shield buffs on all allies by 30% of the damage inflicted. So this is pretty cool. So right off the bat, it's an AoE attack. I believe, or I would like to think that the 75% chance is going to go up to 100% chance with books, and the cooldown is going to go from 4 down to 3, but we're still unsure, like I said before. But it is really cool. You're going to get a decent amount of value off of this because you're going to be removing a buff from the enemy team or enemy opponents or whatever. That could be Doom Tower, that could be Arena. And then you have a 100 or 75% chance of removing a random debuff from allies. So you're getting like a mini type cleanse right there. And then you're increasing the value of shield buffs on all allies of the damage inflicted. That could be the shield that he applies on his A3, which we'll get into in a second, or a shield that's already applied by another member of your team. So that's a really cool ability. I like it a lot. Like I said, I'm hoping the books are going to bring up those values to 100% though, so you guaranteed get value out of it. So on the A3, we have Resilient Glow. Places a block debuffs buff and a 50% increase attack on all allies for 2 turns. I already like the ability. You're getting block debuffs, which is a major buff in my opinion, and then you're getting that little plus of increased attack on your team. Also places a shield buff on all allies for 2 turns equal to 30% of this champion's max HP. The shield buff cannot be removed. This is already cool. So the shield buff can't be stripped. Obviously it can be damaged through like normal, but it does prevent buff stripping, which is nice. And then obviously the shield itself is going to be a very nice addition, and I like the fact that it's 30% of this champion's max HP and not your allies max HP. That means you're going to be stacking this champion with probably a lot of HP. So out of this ability alone, you're literally getting block debuffs and increased attack for 2 turns, along with a shield that's probably going to be pretty big for 2 turns as well, that can't be removed. Now this ability is supposed to be on a 5-turn cooldown. Hopefully we see that drop down to a 4-turn cooldown. 5 turns is a little much, even though you're getting so much value out of the ability. But 4 turns just seems a lot better. Um, so overall, very, very good ability. I'd imagine he's going to prioritize his A3 due to his AI to apply the shield, the block debuffs, the increase attack. Then he'll use his A2 in order to increase the value of that shield. So that's going to be really cool. Yeah, so overall, very, very good kit so far. And then on his passive, we have Redoubt. Whenever an ally under a shield buff is attacked, reflects 25% of the damage inflicted on the shield back to the attacker. Also heals that ally by 25% of the damage inflicted on the shield. If there are multiple champions in the team with this skill, only one will activate. So this is pretty big in my opinion. So the reason why it doesn't say it's his shield that has to be on in order to reflect damage, it's just shields in general. So this could be very big in terms of just having a lot of shield champions in your team. But overall, I think it's going to be extremely cool. You have a heal, so if the shield happens to break, you're still going to get a heal off, keeping your allies up. You have the reflect damage, which may come in handy due to like stuff like Fire Knight. Do remember that the dungeons are being buffed up to 25 eventually, so he might have a place in that dungeon at Fire Knight 25 or something like that, or even progressing up to 25. So that's going to be really cool. He can possibly have a place in Scarab King because of the shields. And like I said, it applies to all shields, and his A2 applies to all shields. So because he's not specifying his specific shields that he places, this could just be a very big support champion with things like other champions that add big shields. So very, very cool passive. Uh, I really like his passive with the whole reflect damage and heal portion of it. Yeah. So overall, I think his kit is just going to be extremely good for progression. As dungeons get higher, I think he's going to do well in Doom Tower waves if you're having issues surviving. He does have like the buff, like the mini buff strip, and the mini cleanse on his A2, along with increasing shield values. He has shields himself. He has the block debuffs. He has the reflect damage. He just has so much going on for him. He has a bunch of utility. And of course, as always, Plarium with the design team and whatnot, all their champions have been looking amazing, and he is no exception. So overall, I definitely think he's going to be worth going for. I definitely think you guys should be going out and farming some food early, farming some of the potion keeps a little early. Unfortunately, we do not know like what champions are going to be involved in this fusion, so we can't tell you, oh, run this many magic keeps or whatever in order to get this many of that specific potion or whatnot. But just prep like you normally would in the past for those things. I know they kind of duped us with the last one where it was 3 or 4 of the Lodricks and we needed a bunch of superior spirit pots. Just be wary, that might be something they might do in the future, but yeah, just farm out. You do have time. It's at the end of March right now, so we still have plenty of time to prepare for that fusion, along with obviously you have the time during the fusion to farm potion keeps as well. We do have a champion training that will be coming up tomorrow. You can farm some food there in preparation for the future if you want, if you're not leveling anything in particular. But yeah, that is all I have to say about the fusion. Like I said, I definitely think he's worth going for. One of my favorite factions, dwarves, needed the love, definitely getting some love with this champion. But yeah, I will talk to you guys later. Let me know if you guys will be going for this fusion, if you're happy that we got the news a little bit early so you can prep for it and all that. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next video. See ya.